Before the Outer Banks became a tourist hotspot, life here was raw, wild, and fragile. Collington Island still carries those echoes, and I went back to capture them.
Hello friends, and welcome back to the channel. I'm currently on the Outer Banks of North Carolina in a town called Kill Devil Hills in a place called Collington Harbor. This is located on Colington Island, which is about 10 miles west of the Wright Brothers Memorial, if you've ever been there, in Kill Devil Hills, famous for the Wright Brothers' first flight. And this is a place that I grew up in 50 plus years ago, and interesting to come back. Had a chance to drive through the development here just a bit ago, and it's amazing to see how it has changed. When I was here, I would say that maybe 20% of the properties were developed, and now it's closer to 100. So it's fully developed, fully built out, and really quite amazing to see the growth and development in this community. We just had Hurricane Erin pass just last week. Fortunately, it stayed offshore, but the Outer Banks certainly felt some of the fury of Hurricane Erin with the winds and the waves and that type of thing. There were several communities that were buffeted pretty hard by all of that. And over the years, quite a number of storms have passed through that have wreaked havoc on the Outer Banks in general. It's a spit of land that really juts out off the North Carolina coast. And of course, you have the Atlantic Ocean to the east and to the west. You have Albemarle Sound, which is behind me here. It's a very interesting place to grow up. I worked at a local fish house here as I was growing up. That fish house is since out of business, but the building is still there. The fish house, of course, was in operation here, but during the summers, the fishermen would fish in Albemarle Sound. They would fish long nets that would sometimes be 300-400 yards long. And then during the winters, they would fish in the ocean with dories. They would actually launch their dories straight out into the surf, pay the nets out behind them, and as in the long netting, they would make a loop, bring that back in, close it down, and be able to get the fish. Our job at the fish house was to cull and sort the fish. They would eventually be put on ice and sent to places like the Folk Fish Market up in New York. Did that for several years and got to know a lot of the local folks fairly well. So this video is really about the Outer Banks, but more specifically, this little island here, Collington Island, and then this place, Collington Harbor. So that's what we'll do in this video. I'll take you around, I'll give you some impressions, and I hope you like it. Let me know if you've been to the Outer Banks. I'm sure a lot of you on the East Coast have visited the Outer Banks from time to time and maybe remember some of how desolate it was during the winter times and how much fun it was during the summers with places like the casino and playing foosball and all.
People come to the Outer Banks for the surf, the sand, the spectacle, but there are places that refuse to perform. Collington Island is one of them, a sly, watery neighborhood tucked behind Kill Devil Hills where the Sound meets and the world slows down. Collington's story stretches long before the vinyl slipcovers and the real estate signs. The land was granted in the 1660s to English interest, and people have fished these sounds for centuries. Archaeology and local records show indigenous and early colonial presence long before the tourist maps arrived. In the mid to late 20th century, Collington evolved. Marsh was dredged, canals were cut, and Collington Harbor emerged as a planned waterfront neighborhood. Private docks, a marina, a quieter sort of Outer Banks life. Locals remember the 60s and 70s as a turning point when development started to reshape the shoreline. What's kept me coming back, and I hope to catch on camera, is the mixture, a stubbornness of people who make a living from the water, the newcomers who seek solitude on a private dock, and the long human timeline from native camps to 20th century fishing shacks to the canal communities you see today. Every morning here smells like coffee and salt and the diesel hum of a crab boat coming in. The sound is flat and relentless in the best way, a soundtrack for a hard, honest life. Collington Harbor doesn't scream for attention. It's not a postcard beach scene. It's a place that trades the flashing for the durable, a community built around the water, memory, and the stubborn business of making a living from a complicated coast. And for somebody that grew up here, those canals are more than water. They're veins that remember you. If you wander out here, be quiet. Respect the boats and the people who built their lives on this water. Ask to hear a story. You'll probably get one. And if you grew up here like I did, bring extra batteries for the camera. You'll need them.
Across the seas through dust and stone, I chase the wild where dreams are sown. From ocean depths to open roads, adventure calls. Let's break the code. Through stormy skies on wings of flame, I carve my path, no fear, no shame. With every mile the world unfolds. Join the ride, our tales untold. Adventures with Duncan come right along. Through mountains high, across the strong. With every step, our heart for sure. In the unknown, we're never wrong. Adventures with Duncan come right along. In the night's embrace, our spirits long. With each sunrise, we stand strong. In the chaos, we find our song. In the silence, whispers guide us. Through the darkness, light we see. With every challenge, we rise. In the journey, we truly be. Across the deserts, through the rain, we find the strength no matter the strain. With every leap, we touch the sky. In the adventure, we thrive. Adventures with Duncan come right along. From the peaks to valleys, we belong.
As I mentioned, I worked at the Nunemaker Fish Company during the summers when I lived on Collington Island. I wanted to provide some of my recollections of the Nunemaker Fish Company and what I could discover with a little bit of research. The Nunemaker Fish Company, sometimes referred to the Nunemaker Fish House, was a family-owned seafood business located on Colington Island in the Outer Banks of North Carolina near Kill Devil Hills. It operated as a fish house along the creek, fitting into the island's long-standing tradition as a fishing village where commercial fishing, crabbing, and eeling were central to the local economy. The business appears to have been active since at least the 1930s, based on community recollections of it being situated to the post office during that era. It closed around 1988, with aligns with my recollections of the building that's still standing, although it has been long shuttered. During the 1970s, when I lived there, the Outer Banks fishing scene, including Collington Island, was dominated by family-run operations harvesting local seafoods like crabs, shrimp, fish, and oysters. The island itself has a deep history in the industry. Archaeological evidence shows Native American occupation dating back to around 200 to 300 AD, with Algonquin tribes using it for fishing. By the 1930s, it was a tight-knit community of about 200 to 300 residents, relying on trot lines for crabbing and eeling, bartering catches due to the Great Depression's hardships. Families like the Nunemakers and the Beasleys were prominent in fishing at the time, living in simple homes or even repurposed houseboats. But the Nunemakers seem to have established their fish house as a key spot for processing and selling catches. Collington later became a hub for the soft-shell crab industry in the 20th century, pioneered by locals like Murray Bridges, which may have overlapped or influenced businesses like the Nunemakers. The Nunemaker family has strong ties to the area in the seafood trade. Community memories highlight Kevin Nunemaker spending days and nights picking fish on the beach in various weather, watching nets to keep the tourist away, suggesting hands-on involvement in the family's operations. Other family members include Buster Nunemaker, who serves as vice chair of the Outer Banks Seafood Festival, which is an annual event celebrating local fisheries, as well as Chris and the late Carl Nunemaker, to whom dedications have been made in local initiatives like the North Carolina Aquarium Society. Carl was a central figure in running the fish company during its later years, given memorials in his name. Today, while the Nunemaker building remains on the creek as a remnant of that era, the island's seafood scene has evolved with modern markets like Billy's Seafood on Collington Road offering fresh catches. The area continues to honor its fishing roots through events and pioneers, but small family fish houses like the Nunemakers have largely given way to larger operations of tourism. While I was in Collington, I stopped by the house of a friend that I used to hang out with when I was growing up there, Gary Kennedy. I know that he was still in the area, and I took a chance and stopped by his place. We had a great time reconnecting and talking about the old days and what he's been up to. Great meeting up with you, Gary. As mentioned in the previous video, I've also created a Google My Map that I've shared in the description below that links all of the places here, not only on Collington, but all the places on the Outer Banks that I'll be visiting in the future videos. I think you'll like it. Coming back to Collington Island is like flipping through an old photo album. So many old familiar things, old familiar faces, and having a chance to reconnect with this place that I spent so much time in growing up over 50 years ago
has certainly been interesting and has certainly brought back a lot of old memories. There are so many things that I love about this place. I hope you've enjoyed this video that I've brought you from the Outer Banks of North Carolina and beautiful Collington Island. If you've enjoyed this content, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. It does more to help my small channel grow than you might realize. I'd love to hear any comments that you might have of your experiences coming to the Outer Banks in the 1970s or 80s, and how desolate it was in the winter versus how it is right now. Really mainstream tourist area. So it was really a different time back then in the winters. It was really a desolate area, but I really loved coming here. So I hope you've enjoyed this content that I brought you from the Outer Banks of North Carolina and Collington Island. It's such a special place, and it's always like coming home every time I come back. Thanks for watching, and have a good day.